10. So it's the subtitle here correctly capture the essence of this chapter, that there's a contrast to the wise person versus a foolish person. The wise person seek wisdom, the wicked person seek wickedness. The righteous person works well, works hard, gather during the harvest. The foolish person sleep in during the harvest, and that causes shame, or like the foolish one caused like grief to his parents. The righteous one is glad, make glad to the parent. The righteous person walks in the way of the Lord and will prolong in life and be glad in his wishes will be granted. But the foolish person does wicked things and will like have its tongue cut out, or just have rod like spanking on his back. I guess that's what happened back then. Or like die early. The thing that stood out to me most, though, is this: doing wickedness is like a sport to a fool. So someone without God in, like the Bible already said, a fool is someone without God in his heart. And so doing wickedness is entertaining to a fool, but to a person of understanding, seeking wisdom is a sport. It's rewarding to him. It's something that he delights in. And so, yeah, pretty much that is mostly that stood out to me, because I never thought about it that way, that people can delight in doing wicked things. I mean, I think I see it. I mean, like serial killer, they it must be in like it must be kind of like a sport to them for them to continue doing it. And I guess the dopamine, like they get their enjoyment, they get their pleasure released in the brain when they do the wicked things, and that's why they keep on doing it. And like even theft, like they people who they get their dopamine rush, and so they continue to do it, and it gets more serious because they need that rush. Like, doing the small thing doesn't give them the same rush, and so they have to kind of like drug, right? You have to kind of level it up. And then I was watching on Netflix like this documentary of like a doctor who like operate on the throat, and he put like plastic in there, and his life was kind of like a web of lie. And so lying to him is that dopamine rush, and he fabricates this whole story about himself, taking care of the president, like stuff like that. And so lying can be that way. And so, I mean, the more you train your brain on a certain path, it goes on that path and it wants more. And so I think like now that I read it and it kind of stands out to me, it all kind of makes sense, like to what I've observed, to what I've watched, the documentaries that I watch, the stuff that I read. It kind of like it all fits in. And so that is what a foolish person does. He carved this path in his kind of like brain for a certain style of living, whereas a wise person carve a different path, and he takes on a different path to find pleasure, not in the things that is going to bring him self-destruction, that God warned him against, but in things that will give him wisdom, understanding, godliness, things that are good for us that God tells us to follow. And so, yeah, it's really cool. Like the more that I think about it, and this becomes like more profound to me.